What's up everybody, this is Damron. We're playing Splinter Cell Blacklist on Perfectionist difficulty, trying to get the no-kill option engaged, which is to not kill anyone as Sam Fisher, while beating it on the highest difficulty. We're on part 7, which brings us to Special Missions HQ. I know this is an older guide, and an older game. I've said that in some previous videos, but I felt like the older guides were a little outdated. They had very dark gameplay, so I've brightened up the gameplay, and I've got a little bit quicker methods to get you through these levels. Of course, credit where credit is due. I used Mac's guides here and there, and a couple of his strategies are the same strategies that I utilize, so credit to him for that. This probably is the longest mission that we're going to play, just because there's no real way to rush through things, as we have to follow this commander in Tehran, Iran, as we're progressing through. We can't really speed up. We have to wait for him for certain areas. So as soon as the mission starts, we're going to go to the left of that car, climb up that pipe, and go around the wall of the building. Take the same path that I'm taking right here, and you should have no problem getting through this section. Now, you cannot disturb anyone in this section. You can't even knock them out non-lethally. Of course, I've mentioned in the previous videos for this guide, I'm not going to go over my complete build. That is in the prologue, aka part 1 of this guide, so if you want to see exactly what I'm utilizing, feel free to check that out. But I do recommend that you play a little bit, unlock the stealth gear, get your sleeping gas crossbow. That's huge. And then, as always, make sure you have the non-lethal options selected as you're playing the level, right? Make sure you have your non-lethal takedown selected. Sometimes the game will switch you into your lethal takedown after, say, a cutscene, so always keep that in mind as you're going through the level. So once you kind of get around the building, and again, we're basically just following the wall, take the same path that I just showed you, kind of across that sign that crosses the street there, and if you go across to the other building, you'll find this pipe here that you can slide down. And all you really need to do is wait for this guy that's on the other side of this stop sign to turn around. Once he does, we're going to drop down. We're going to go around the right side of the ramp, because there is a camera there. If you go down to the back side here, you can get a good sight on where that camera is looking by looking at the light. And when it goes to the right side, go ahead and jump over, drop down, and we're on into the next section. There's only one guy in the first level of this parking garage, as well as another security camera. Once he walks away and the security camera looks the other way, you're pretty much free to drop in. Now we have to kind of go down the center of the parking garage, and you can't just go down freely, okay? You need to pay attention to the levels of the parking garage. There are soldiers walking, and you can see how he's shining his light on that wall. If you were on that wall, whenever he shines his light on it, you will get spotted pretty quickly. So take your time, and then once you get down here, immediately wall cover onto the wall. Do not jump over, as the guy will instruct you not to do. He'll talk, and you'll pretty much just have to wait here for a second, and then after that, we're just going to follow him for a minute or so into the next section of the level.
و اگه اونجا نبود جنرال؟
چشم، به من اعتماد کنید. برو. Follow me quickly. The surveillance will need to cut through, and the RFID chip I'm carrying only disables it for a short time.
Why are you taking me through heavy surveillance?
Because you left me no other option. It's our only way through.
Through where?
Holding cells, where we would keep people like you interfering in our affairs.
I'm here to stop a war between our two countries.
Says the man with a UAV flying over Iranian airspace.
And sometimes there's no time to negotiate.
Spoken like a true soldier. Just past this door. We're almost there. Stay close.
Alright, so after following him a little bit, you're going to see a cutscene here. We're going to skip it now. It is very dark after this cutscene, but when you get control, immediately start spamming A, and you'll get up to the ceiling. It is dark. You're not going to be able to see. I can't brighten up blackness, but just trust me, once you get out of that scene, just press A and go all the way to the top, and you're going to get onto a pipe that allows you to go to the right and onto this section of the second level. Now, there will be a guy up here. Again, as always, after cutscenes, just double check and make sure that everything is set to non-lethal. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sleep gas the guy that is up here with you. Now keep in mind, all of the enemies in this area are on alert. They are looking for you. You're technically spotted, so take your time in here. Basically though, if you go up to that second level and gas that guy, we can go ahead and get into the next room, and we don't really have to worry about any of the other enemies in that section. Again, you'll probably have to use your night vision. It is very dark here and there, and we're going to go downstairs, and there's generally going to be a guy in this stairwell. Again, just sleep gas him, and we're on really past this section. You're going to go ahead and go into this room here. Not really sure. I think I accidentally closed that door. I'm not really sure what I was doing. But anyway, once you do go through the door, we're going to hang left, and you're going to see another set of double doors right in front of you. And as soon as you go through these double doors, there'll be a vent right in front of you where your marker is. Just go ahead and enter that ventilation system and follow that into this shaft, and we're going to find a pipe on the left-hand side of this ventilation shaft that we're going to take up to the top level of this room.
What the guards do.
Once you get to this top little scaffold here, we're going to look on the left hand side for another ventilation duct system. We're going to go ahead and go into that, and it's going to bring you to another stairwell. Now there are several enemies in this stairwell. You can take that guy out if you want to, but if he's looking down, he generally won't come up, so you can just walk by him as well. Now you can climb up here where I'm at, and you'll actually get kind of in this area where you can get a shot on these two guys up on the top here. But you know, whatever you want to do, I just tend to walk up here. There's going to be two guys, possibly one, but the second guy comes out from this elevator room, and once he does kind of this door, I usually just sleep gas both of them, and you actually have to pick one up and use them to walk through the door because they have essentially a card that is on their body, I guess, that you can't take with you, but you need to use their body in order to get through that door. So once you do that, we're going to interact with the elevator, and we're going to take a nice little elevator ride. So while we're taking this elevator ride, I will take this opportunity to say, you know, thanks to all my supporters. The channel's been growing. It's been great. I appreciate all the support I've gotten. If you like my stuff, feel free to like and subscribe. Drop a like, hit the bell so you know when I'm dropping a new video. But I do appreciate all the support that I've gotten thus far. Also, in this game, we have been skipping the cutscenes in this Perfectionist playthrough, but I do have the Blacklist movie up, which highlights all the cinematics and all of the story-related conversations in one video, and that's pretty cool to watch. And also have a complete collectibles guide up for this game to get all the HVTs, the dead drops, and the laptops. So if you want to get all of those while you're playing through, be sure to check out that guide as well. Alright, so once you finally get to the top of the elevator, there's going to be one guy out here, and you're going to be trying to get into the vault. It's like the door before you got into the elevator. You actually need to use his body in order to get through the door. So you need to take him out. Make sure you do that non-lethally, as always, as we're not getting any kills with Sam Fisher. And then pick him up and use him to walk through this doorway here. So once you get through, people do patrol this area. Just drop him off in this little dark cubby right here on the left, and we're gonna go on the left hand side, and there can be a guy up here, and if there is, just take the path that I'm going to show you here. You can just go up on this wall, and you can actually shimmy all the way around the wall, and he won't see you. Now there wasn't a guy on this ledge in this current playthrough, so I really didn't need to do it, but I wanted to show you the path to take if he is there. And then just kind of go down on the other side, and you'll be on the other side of the room. And this is really, you know, there's a lot of stuff we have to do in this room, but first, that's the guy I think that can come up the stairs, so just take him out right now. But go into this room, and in the back of this room, you're going to find this little ladder that brings you below the room we were in. And this is actually how we're going to have access to the computer that we need to have access, is we're going to go in here and interact with this machine here. Done that, just proceed on. That's going to open the ventilation shaft to allow us to go through the bottom doorway to go up right in next to the computer. Now when you go in here, there are some lasers here, but just hop onto this little pipe above it and then drop down in between the two lasers, and now you can climb up that little opening that you just made by pressing that button. Now there's always going to be a guy sitting here, and there's also a guy patrolling this area that will eventually come right next to him. When they're beside each other, you can just use a sleeping dart to take both of them out at the same time. So once you've done that, just pick up one of them. So there's the computer that you have to interact with, and you're going to see these lasers kind of all around it. If you just throw a body right basically down here, then it will deactivate those lasers, and now we can interact with the computer and get on to the next step of the level.
Drive is locked.
Alright, so once you've interacted with the computer, then you'll have to basically protect it for a minute and a half, or not really protect it, because it's going to download no matter where you are in the room. So a few enemies are going to enter the room, a few more just basic enemies, as well as a helmeted enemy. The reason we came the way we did is because now we can utilize this downstairs really to maximize getting through this part of the mission very, very easily. So we're going to go back downstairs, go to this part of the wall here, and just hold tight. Now someone will always go through this wall, or that door I should say. It's either going to be a normal guy, as you see right here, and if it is, you can just take him down when he comes down the steps, or it may be the helmeted enemy. And if it's the helmeted enemy, then just go back into the room with the lasers, and he will walk past that doorway, and then as soon as he walks past the doorway, then you can go behind him and take him out. If it's a regular guy, then the helmeted guy will tend to be just patrolling right here in front of the gate, and then once he turns his back, you can then thus stealth take him out. And once you do, and you walk back into the computer server room, there will generally be one of the guys that entered the room now kind of wandering around this room. Just take your time. Your downloading time is probably almost up now, but just take your time, go ahead and take him out, and once you do, we'll be able to interact with the computer and get past this room.
Got it.
I've got the drive.
So once you get the drive, we're going to go ahead and move into the next section of the level. We're going to exit through the same door that we entered that room in, and we're going to fast rappel down all the way to the ground. And this part's pretty easy if you know the route to take. As soon as you get down to this courtyard, go ahead and over to the right side and get behind one of these pillars, and now use the cover to cover mechanic to go from pillar to pillar. If you don't, you may actually get spotted. So cover to cover, and again we're going to go all the way around to this particular pillar right here, and this enemy that's coming up on my right side is always going to come up this way. And basically what we want to do is we want to take him out, and we're actually good to get through the rest of this section just by taking that single guy out and going up the right side. So there's quite a bit of enemies in the area, but now that we've taken him out, we can just move up and pay attention to this guy's flashlight and or the mini map on your bottom left. And as soon as he turns around, you're pretty much good to go through the door that you need to enter, take this guy out, and enter into the ventilation system to complete that area. So entering into this vent, going the right way, we're going to eventually come to this little stand here, and you're going to see another vent opening right in front of you, this grate. Go ahead and open that. This guy may turn around. If he does, it's okay. You'll have plenty of time to stealth knock him out. And then we're actually going to go down this stairwell. Once you get to the bottom of the stairwell, keep in mind that guy in that doorway, he does patrol this area. When the moment is clear, go ahead and enter that grate there and walk straight through into the next ventilation area and walk all the way to the end of this shaft, and we're going to see a grate that we can open. Now there's going to be a guy on the other side of this grate, so keep in mind where he's at. Once he turns that corner, just go into this room, and you're going to see this door on my right here. That door is the door we need to get through to enter into the next phase of this mission. So pretty easy, just go ahead and get in here, and now we're in this area here. Now we're going to take this catwalk to the left-hand side. You're going to see this guy walking. He goes into the middle here and kind of peers over the ledge. You will have a short period of time to go into this opening on the left after this guy walks out. Now sometimes that guy can stand right here where I'm standing right now and staring up the stairwell, at which you may get stuck where he's just standing there and the guy on the grate is standing there, and the guy on the grate will eventually turn around. If you're in that scenario, just go ahead and go back and wait for the cycle to kind of repeat itself. But ultimately, if you take the path that I took here, you can essentially just sleep gas this guy and go back into the back of the room to go through this double door and get through this entire section. You don't need to use your snake cam there, just poor controls. But go through this door and you've again gone through a pretty difficult section very, very easily. So here we are onto this area here, and you need to wait for this guy to come through the door because it's another door that needs an enemy to be close to it in order to open. So once he comes through and the door is open, feel free to knock him out and proceed through the next double doors.
I'm in the foyer, headed out of the building.
Sam, there's a security gate on your exfil route through the gardens. You should be near a security control room. Access the terminal inside and we'll override the doors.
So once you get to this area of the mission, you're going to have to interact with this computer here to shut down the security, and eventually you're going to go through this gate. Now this section can be a little tricky, but I'm going to show you a very, very easy way to get through it. Before the cutscene starts, make sure you have your proximity shocker set onto your tactical equipment, right? Your left bumper, or whatever button you have selected that to be on. And after quite a bit of discussion in this gate opens, we're essentially going to throw a proximity shocker right at the door, and it's going to shock both enemies that go into the left side of the room, and then you only have to deal with the shielded enemy and the guy on the right. And you're going to see that right here basically after this little cutscene here. So we're gonna let the cutscene, we're gonna skip that, and essentially as soon as that ends, watch, we're gonna throw that sticky launcher over there, the proximity shocker, boom, those two guys are out. You're still in stealth mode, and now you just see the shielded guy in the door that we need to leave and on the guy on the right here. So now we've only got two guys to deal with just by throwing that proximity shocker as soon as it starts. Now what that's going to do is that's going to give you some free time to just wait and gas this guy on the right. If you don't throw that proximity shocker, you can't stand exactly where I was at, because those enemies will move up and will eventually see you. And basically all we're going to wait for now is we're just going to wait a minute for this shield guy to not be paying attention. If you're having trouble with that, you can throw a noisemaker. You saw that I did equip that to get him to look in the other direction, but it's not really necessary.
Where are we with X?
So once we get through that door, we're finally to the end of this very, very long level, and basically what you want to do is go ahead and go to the right of this little, fountain-like area. There'll be two guys that meet in the middle, but if you just walk down here very quickly, take the right-hand side, they will not spot you. We're going to go all the way behind this tree here and to this right path. This is an HVT target. If you haven't capture him, you will have the option to bag and tag him, but again, we're playing Perfectionist, we're trying to get through this quickly. So let's gas him. We're going to climb up on this wall and drop down into this creek here. Now you need to be quick with that, with what I just did. If you wait too long, you will actually can be spotted by that shield guy. So we're gonna throw some sticky noisemaker over that way, get them to look, and once they've turned around, boom, we're going to take out the shielded guy, and then we can go ahead and gas this guy standing up there looking at our noisemaker. So there's really only two enemies left up in this last section here before we get to the helicopter sequence, and that's one enemy and a dog, and the dog can be on the left side and or the right, and that's really the only one you got to worry about because he can obviously spot you from pretty far away. So go ahead and take your time and gas that enemy up there and identify where the dog's at. Once you identify where the dog's at, try to get a shot on it and go ahead and put him to sleep. And once you do that, you're pretty much free to go into this little gateway, which is going to trigger the next cutscene and trigger the last part of this mission, in which you are in control of some drone that's going to be shooting some vans. Now we are playing on Perfectionist, trying to get the no-kill option engaged, so we'll say at this point in the game you will actually be killing enemies, but it's okay because you're doing this as Grim and you are not Sam Fisher. Remember, Sam Fisher is in the van, so don't worry about it. Go ahead and clean up all of these vans with the minigun or the cannons, whichever you want to use. And then once we clean up all of these, the actual mission will end, And that's done it for part 7 of our Splinter Cell Blacklist Perfectionist no kill option engaged playthrough Special Missions HQ. I do know this is an older game and maybe not many of you are watching this, but those of you that are, I hope you find it helpful. I hope you're finding it enjoyable. You know me, I just make guides of whatever I'm playing. I don't care how old it is. So I hope you guys like it, and we'll go ahead and finish this mission up, and we'll see you in part 8.
Hostiles eliminated. Vehicle is down. Hostiles eliminated. Pursuit vehicles are jammed up. You're clear. I'll see you back on the plane.